welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to be tackling something that's really key for any author out there, especially if you're thinking about writing a book
Oh, yeah.
and you want to make it a bestseller.
Absolutely.
We're diving deep into book titles.
It's so important.
We actually found this really cool podcast
Nice.
that's all about crafting best-selling book titles.
Okay.
And we want to kind of like break it down and figure out what are the most important things for us to take away from this,
I love that.
so we can apply it to, our own books.
Yeah.
Or books that we want to write in the future.
Definitely.
So, when you think about your book title, it's really like the first impression
Yes, exactly.
that you make on your readers.
It's their invitation.
It's like that Jeff Bezos quote about how customers are like invited guests to a party,
I like that.
and your title is basically the invitation to your readers' like literary party.
Totally.
So you want to make sure it's a good one.
For sure. And what I found so interesting about this podcast is they said you shouldn't just like start brainstorming titles randomly.
Huh.
You have to think about the format first.
Oh, interesting.
Kindle, paperback, audiobook.
Saying like what makes a good title for a paperback might not work for a Kindle book.
Yeah, they were saying that, depending on the format you choose, it's going to be a different playing field.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like the competition is different.
Yeah.
Especially for Kindle, they were saying the Kindle market is incredibly competitive. Thousands of books are uploaded every single day.
Wow. Yeah.
So your title needs to grab attention immediately. Really use strong keywords.
Oh, so they'll actually show up in searches.
Exactly. So you want something short, punchy, that clearly tells the reader what the genre is.
So like a very specific, thriller or romance or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
Versus like if you're in a bookstore and you see a paperback,
Mhm.
maybe the title can be a little bit more subtle, a little bit more literary because people have more time to browse.
Exactly. You're not just scrolling past it.
Right. And what about audiobooks?
Audiobooks are totally different because
Yeah.
people are listening
With their ears.
with their ears, yes. And with the rise of voice search titles that are easy to say and understand when spoken aloud, those tend to do better.
Makes sense.
Yeah,
So the format really does impact the title.
100%.
So I remember in the podcast they mentioned this Amazon experiment.
Oh, yeah, that was interesting.
Can you remind us what that was?
Of course.
Because I thought that really illustrated this whole idea.
Yeah, they said go to Amazon and search a title you're thinking of, but search it in different departments. So search it in all departments first, then Kindle books, and then books.
Okay.
And you'll see sometimes that title will show up in one category and not another.
Oh, wow.
Really showing how different the competition is.
But why is that?
I think it has a lot to do with those keywords we were talking about.
Okay.
Amazon's algorithm is picking up on the keywords that are most relevant for each category.
So like a title with the words paranormal romance is going to do better in the Kindle store than maybe in the paperback store.
Yeah, because people searching for that specific genre are more likely to be browsing on Kindle.
So it's not just about the title sounding good, it's about being strategic and thinking about how people are going to find it
Absolutely.
based on the format.
100%.
This is really interesting.
And it gets even more interesting.
Oh, no.
Because they said the format you choose should be reflected in the title itself.
Wait, so like my title should actually say Kindle or paperback?
No, not literally.
Okay.
But the style and the keywords.
So if I want my book in all three formats...
Which a lot of authors do these days.
Yeah.
You have to think about all three when you're crafting that title.
So my title needs to work for Kindle readers who are using keywords,
Yeah.
for paperback readers who are, browsing a bookstore,
Flipping through pages.
and for audiobook listeners who might be using voice search.
it's a challenge.
That sounds like a challenge.
But if you understand the nuances,
Yeah.
you can craft a title that is catchy but also strategically sound
Okay, that's good advice.
for all three formats.
So we've talked about the format and
Yeah.
how that affects the title, but they also mentioned something else in the podcast I thought was really interesting.
What was that?
It was this ebook all about how to craft irresistible titles.
Right.
Yeah, they mentioned it kind of briefly as like a resource,
Mm-hmm.
but it got me thinking about something that they didn't really talk about, which is subtitles.
Oh, yeah, subtitle.
We've been focusing on the main title, but could subtitles actually play a role in attracting readers depending on the format?
That's an interesting point.
Right, like let's say I've written a mystery novel.
Okay.
It takes place in this spooky old mansion,
That's fun.
and my main title is something catchy and mysterious, like The Whispering Walls.
Ooh, I like that.
Now for the Kindle version, maybe the subtitle is short and sweet. It's those key words, like a gothic mystery.
Right. To the point.
But for the paperback, where someone might actually pick it up and read the back cover, maybe the subtitle could be more descriptive, like A Tale of Family Secrets in Haunted Houses.
I love that. It paints a better picture.
And then for the audiobook, maybe I go with a chilling mystery to keep you up all night.
Ooh, I see what you're doing there.
So it's like I'm tailoring the subtitle
Yeah.
to appeal to how people actually discover books in different formats.
You're highlighting different aspects of the story to make it more enticing to specific readers.
Exactly.
So each format gets its own little mini marketing campaign.
Yeah, and it makes sense because a Kindle reader might prioritize those key words,
And a quick genre check.
while a paperback reader, they might want something more evocative.
Exactly.
And then the audiobook listener, they want to know if it's going to be like a thrilling listen.
Right, is this going to keep me on the edge of my seat?
So maybe we need to be thinking about subtitles more strategically.
Not just finding one good phrase, but finding the right phrase for the right format.
This has given me a whole new perspective on subtitles.
Me too, I love this idea.
It's like you can use every part of your book
The title, subtitle, even the cover art.
to really try and connect with the reader.
And find your audience.
Because at the end of the day, that's what we want. We want people to read our books.
Absolutely.
So we've been deep diving into this podcast all about how to craft best-selling book titles. And wow, it's been really eye-opening.
Right. So much strategy involved.
It's not just about coming up with something catchy. It's about the format, the audience, how people search. It's like a whole puzzle.
It really is.
And that Amazon experiment was really cool, like seeing how a title can show up in one category, not another.
Yeah, that was a great visualization.
And then thinking about subtitles as these mini marketing campaigns
For each format,
blows my mind.
the great takeaway.
Yeah, like the title, subtitle, the cover, they all work together to create that first impression
It's all about grabbing the reader's attention.
and hopefully making them want to dive into your book.
Exactly.
So we've covered a lot today,
We-
but it's just the beginning, right?
Absolutely.
There's always more to learn about marketing and connecting with readers.
And new strategies emerging all the time.
But I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about for now.
Definitely something to chew on.
So remember, that title is your first impression. You want to make it count.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive, and we'll see you next time for another deep dive into something fascinating.